I do. I find the voice grating. It feels like my teeth are like when I hear that.
I don't think it's supposed to sound good. It should make you feel
No,
good.
I know. I know that that's the goal. I'm just saying, like...
Exterminate!
But there's like a grind to it. It's like a...
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say it's like the gears are grinding, you know?
Yeah,
like, it's like a little bit more mechanical.
It's so It's not even unsettling.
very,
It's just like a... Yeah. There's some throat music going on there. Yeah. I mean, I get how that could have been like creepy in the 60s. It's creepy now, I guess, but it's creepy in like a stop sounding like that way more than
sound like that.
Hello, I'm Kevin.
I'm Rachel.
And this is Shelf Life, a podcast where a brother and sister team go through all things pop culture, one at a time, of all different genres, in various types of media, to determine whether or not they belong on your shelf, both digital and physical. And today, we continue our path in space and time in a big blue box, because we are continuing our journey through what, Rachel?
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who Series 1.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I can be more specific if you'd like.
Yes, you can probably be slightly more specific.
Doctor Who Series 1, Part 2.
Part 3.
Part 3.
This is the 6th episode we are covering of Doctor Who. Rachel, what is the 6th episode of Doctor Who?
The Doctor meets an old enemy called the Dalek, and it's called the Dalek.
Now, I do think that the episode should have been called Blowgar, but that's just me.
I mean, it's a way better name.
I know that the Dalek is like the Joker or the Green Goblin or the Yankees to the Doctor Who's hero, right? Like, I get that it's the arch enemy of everything.
Sure.
So they had to bring the Dalek
into
this at some point. Like, even though they're trying to like get rid of like a lot of the classic Doctor Whovian stuff, like, you got to bring the Dalek back.
Right.
I mean, and I always call it Blowgart because of Community, and we used to say that to you, because in that their Doctor Who parody, which I cannot remember the name of right now, but the Dalek was Blowgart.
It like popped into my head. I need to see it now.
It's like Inspector Space or something.
Time.
Inspector
Space
yeah.
Time. Yeah.
I like it. Like came to me, it's Inspector, because I know that they keep going Inspector. This episode should not be called Dalek.
Okay.
They should not have shown the Dalek. Or Blowgart. They should not have shown the Dalek in the damn preview for this episode.
No, they really shouldn't have.
I kind of get it from we're trying to promote the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So you are trying to bring people in by saying, hey, next week, it's the return of the Daleks. But I think it would have been better if they left that as a surprise. I think
I think that would have been great if it was a surprise.
Like, what's the difference? So, like, nothing now. Like, there's no difference now, almost 20 years as the time of this recording after the episode.
But if you haven't seen this and it's just like your first time going through it, don't watch those previews.
That's true. That's
like,
true.
Don't watch those previews because they are so spoilery. I can't stand it. You have to skip the preview and just go straight to the episode.
Yeah, you cannot watch the preview. I would have rather they called it something like the last of their kind.
Last of their kind. That would have been cool.
Yeah, and that works for both the Dalek and the Doctor. But it fits the episode and it fits the theme of the episode. Like, something like that would have been a better name than just Dalek. Anyway. That's my opinion, because I think that would have made a good reveal when
it would have been a great reveal.
Absolutely, that's the Doctor.
In this episode, once we like start walking through it, they do do a reveal that way. You
Yes.
know, you hear the sounds, you see, like, from their point of view, he's in the shadows. It's like, you don't know what it is, technically.
Technically.
And then it's revealed what it is.
Right. That's the big
Doctor.
grand reveal. With that
Doctor.
voice. So the Daleks, of course, are something from like the 60s. I don't even know when they were first introduced. Rachel, do you know what
Not a
episode they were
clue.
first introduced?
I couldn't tell you.
I will let you know. I mean, their first appearance was in 1963.
In Doctor Who season 1. In, like, the first season ever.
Yeah. Clearly.
It looks like in every season there's like a Dalek episode.
Oh, like
Almost.
in the old days?
Mm-hmm. It looks like,
Okay.
yeah.
If you're going to
Yes.
Rachel, can you please explain
Oh, God.
to the folks at home that may not be fans of Doctor Who, such as
Sure.
myself, even though I know what a Dalek is, and I think a Dalek has surpassed common nomenclature at this point.
The look of
But
the
please-
Dalek, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Please explain what a Dalek is. Not just the look, but like what their purpose is.
Okay. So a Dalek was created to be like the perfect being. And they want to destroy anything that is not perfect, that is not them. So they're very, very against everything else. They kill everything that they pretty much see that isn't perfect. They themselves are this weird, like, alien creature inside of an encased suit. And it's kind of like a little robotic thing that they move around in. It has a periscope eye that they can move around. It has, like, interesting arms. One that looks kind of like a laser beam. The other one looks like a plunger. And then it's... How do you describe the shape? Because the shape is very distinctive.
Trash can.
Like a trash
It's
can,
a
but it kind of
bin.
like... It
They
also
call
kind
it
of
a-
like goes out at the end. It flares out at the end.
He calls it a pepper pot in this episode, which is probably sort of accurate.
What is a pepper pot?
I think it's the British term for like a pepper shaker.
Yeah, because it has that shape where it like goes from skinny at the top and then it like widens out at the bottom and it has orbs
Yeah.
all over it. So that's what it looks like, and it has like it contains a little alien creature. Oh, it's almost octopus squidish with like a brain. So that's kind of what that creature looks like on the inside.
Yeah. So if you're making a television show in the early 60s and one of the enemies is going to be something that its priority is to kill, and its priority is to kill anything that in particular does not fit your idea of perfection or is
Exactly.
different, you are very clearly making a allusion to Nazis, right?
Yes. I would
That's
assume, yeah.
So that is their origin, is that they're a stand-in for Nazis.
Absolutely.
And it still works. Now, this episode I thought was going to get into a little bit of like, is there a gray area? I prefer usually, I don't want to necessarily have sympathetic villains. Some villains can be sympathetic and that works. I like to have a little bit of gray with the villains a little bit to understand their point. But it's also fun to have villains that are
Just evil.
just pure evil.
Yes.
And I think that's where the Daleks stand, right? They're
Yes, I would say
they're
so.
programmed to kill. That's their only purpose.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the idea behind like Nazi adjacent, right? Like they're just these killing machines. They're merciless and they're ruthless and they don't have feelings and anything like that.
Right. I don't
Okay.
think they mentioned Davros or Scarro in this one, right? Do you remember those names?
They don't mention those names.
Okay.
Looking
That's
at the
fine.
wiki a little bit, I know
I
that they
don't have to talk
refer-
about it. That's why I'm just asking.
Sure. They make reference to the creator, the person that created the Daleks,
Yes.
when they talk about what the Daleks are. They're these mutated, it's this mutated species or the species that was genetically engineered for this specific task. So one of those guys that you said is the person that created them.
Davros.
Yeah, so they're alluding to
Scarro
that.
is the location.
Oh, okay. Okay. So this is definitely the episode that gets into a lot of the lore of Doctor Who, in my opinion. That we're clearly talking about more of the
Time War.
Yeah, that's the word. The Time War, for sure.
Because the Daleks were involved, apparently.
Doctor Who, exterminate. See, like, it takes a while to get there. That's their catchphrase, is exterminate.
Exterminate is their catchphrase. That is correct. Because they exterminate all beings that are not perfect.
They wanted to do a Return of the Daleks type of story where they could show how much of a menace that they were when they first debuted. Because I think, like you're saying, Rachel, they've been in every season thus far, so I'm sure somewhere over time there's been great episodes, there's probably been bad episodes, there's probably been goofy stuff that happens to them.
Of course.
So I think that this was an attempt to try to be like, no, these guys are killing machines. They're quite literally killing machines.
Yes. Make it a little darker.
Yeah, and make it emotional. Like,
Yes.
have a lot of... Make sure that there is a lot of expression in it as well.
Absolutely.
So, shall we get right into Dalek?
I think we shall.
This episode is the 161st story of Doctor Who, debuted on April 30th, 2005, written by Robert Sherman, and it is directed by Joe Ahern. I probably said that wrong. Apologies, Joe, if you're listening to this podcast, but like and subscribe. Ahearne.
E-R-N-E?
Ahearne. Ahern.
I'm like, are you sneezing?
Ahern? Yeah, maybe Ahern. That could be one. I will accept Ahern.
Ahern.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're saying that properly. We're looking it up. Ahern. Okay, go on.
Okay. So the episode begins. The TARDIS has taken them somewhere off course. And they're like, okay, where are we and when are we? And they are in Utah. Lovely Utah in the year 2012. But they're a half-mile underground. So we don't get to see any of the United States in this episode. It is in a bunker somewhere.
Yes,
and
strictly.
you are there the entire time. I even said that the coloring even looks a little bit different in this one. They're tinting it a little darker.
Yes.
In my opinion. I don't know if that's true, but
like a bit of a shade. Yeah.
It seemed like it.
Very dramatic lighting, if there is lighting.
Yes. And a lot of this looks like just very boxy, very steelish, very warehousey, which I'm sure probably helped a little bit with the budget after doing like all of those alien designs.
Oh, sure,
so
yes.
We end up finding out that it is a big museum of alien stuff. It's huge. There's stuff all over the place. Displays of all of this different alien tech and alien bodies.
A Slitheen arm?
There's a Slitheen arm.
Yeah. Remember that one?
Mm-hmm. I do. I do remember that one. They were fat and farted.
Yep.
The doctor points out the millimeter from the Roswell crash. I thought it was the arc reactor from the Iron Man suit.
Like it looks like an arc reactor. It's true. They should have had the gauntlet.
Yes, there should have been the Infinity Gauntlet. Should have been there for sure.
The Infinity Gauntlet would be in this room.
That would have been fun. I figure that there's some Easter eggs that are either in Doctor Who lore or other stuff.
Oh, of course.
I looked on the wiki. One of the things on the wiki said that there's a xenomorph egg or something like that.
Okay.
In one of the somewhere near the TARDIS, there's a xenomorph Easter egg.
Sure.
I don't know if that's true. If you see it, Rachel, let me know. But
there is some sort of egg.
yeah, so I guess it's supposed to be a xenomorph egg.
All right. I'll take their word for it.
All right. There is a Cyberman. I know that one.
You know the Cyberman
there's nothing
head.
else. I don't know what they are, but I know what a Cyberman head is because like
so
that's
they
what
also
it
have
has
a
to be.
catchphrase.
God, what is their catchphrase?
Yeah, it's delete, delete, delete.
Oh, that's so close to exterminate.
Well,
that feels like a ripoff of the Dalek.
Upgrading. They're more so upgrading everything than exterminating it. They want to upgrade. We're just going to upgrade you.
Okay, so they want to integrate them into the Cyberman society.
That's correct. There's
Okay.
nothing to
A
fear. We're
little,
going to upgrade you. Delete.
Oh boy. So this thing looks like a dream from the 60s as well. This Cyberman. It's a Tin Man head. The Doctor stares at
Yeah.
it for...
This is the original,
is.
like, Cyberman look, yeah.
Yeah. The Doctor stares at it for a moment. She says, like, do you know this one? And he's like, yeah, it's a friend of mine, or an enemy, actually. The stuff of nightmares. And he says, I'm getting old. Because I think he's just thinking about, like, all the adventures that he's been on. Which, as we know,
Oh, sure.
he's been on 160 adventures that we've gotten to see. So, quite a bit.
Exactly.
He says the signal is still reaching out, calling for help. So, the TARDIS threw them off course because there was some sort of signal, a distress call across time and space. So, it's some sort of being that can do that. And it brought them here to 2012 Utah in this bunker. And Jackie and Rose says...
No Jackie
Rose,
in this episode.
Unfortunately, there is no Jackie. Rose says, is that the thing that's giving off the signal? And the Doctor's like, no, this is dead. The signal is something that's alive. It's still calling for help. But before he can do anything, or before they like have any idea of what it could be, an alarm goes off, and a bunch of army guys surround them with guns and stuff. So they've been captured or something.
Or something.
And or something. And Rose says that, well, if this is an alien museum, they've kind of got another exhibit here with you. Now, the music swells and we go into the credits. The music swells. They pivot the camera over to a random soldier with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And then it pivots back to the Doctor, who then smiles. I'm not going to tell anybody what to do about their pacing or their editing here. Who am I to judge with our episodes of Shelf Life? But wouldn't it have been better if she says, well, they've got Exhibit A right here. He smiles, and it goes to credits. Why did you cut to this army guy and then cut back? It felt off. It felt like they missed something there. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I know what you mean.
It's just
it
those
almost
little
feels like
things.
maybe they'd show the army guy first and then have Rose like go to Rose and
then
then
have
go
her
to the
say it.
Doctor
Yeah.
and he just like
Her-
laughs about it.
She gives you the punch to send you into the credits. Like,
Yes.
that's the punch to send you there. I don't know. It's those little things that I can find where it's like, why is it that way? That's the wrong way.
Right.
Bad Wolf 1 is descending. So another reference to Bad Wolf, which I picked up on because I've kind of said, I think, in our last Shelf Life episode that I'm clearly supposed to be paying attention to that.
Bad Wolf.
Don't know what it means, but it's clearly some sort of thing that's an Easter egg. And maybe you're not even supposed to think about it. I would say you're not supposed to think about it based on this one and the last one, where it was just the graffiti and the name of the helicopter is Bad Wolf.
Sure.
But from the Charles Dickens episode, the maid was so insistent on Bad Wolf being a bad thing that
She saw the
clearly
big
it
bad
means
wolf?
something. Yes, like clearly that means something. If it was just this little thing that's saying, then it would just be like a little Easter egg, like an Alfred Hitchcock kind of cameo
Oh yeah, sure.
thing.
Yeah.
The helicopter is owned by Henry Van Staten.
The biggest douchebag.
So this guy, Henry Van Staten, is played by Corey Johnson, who you've seen in stuff, Rachel. He's like a character actor
Yeah, I could see that.
who's been in shit all over the
Sure.
place.
Oh yeah.
But he
I couldn't tell you anything else. I would recognize him from this.
Yeah,
so.
you'd recognize him. He shows up and stuff. He's definitely a that guy type of actor. Like, I
Right.
even said, like, oh, it's that guy. But I couldn't tell you why I knew him. Or, like, from what. But he
Sure.
definitely is a that guy. He's playing Henry Van Staten. Who, by the way, Rachel, when I looked on the wiki to just kind of see any, like, facts about this episode.
Okay.
They have, on
Okay.
the TARDIS wiki, this whole backstory about this guy. He's got, like, a whole biography
Oh, wow.
about his life.
Okay.
He's the son of Edward Van Staten, the billionaire owner of the Van Staten Corporation, who I think is the portrait in his office is of,
the one that
supposed
looks
to be
like
of the
him,
dad.
but not quite.
Yeah. Yeah. And it goes through this whole thing about, like, how he grew up loving the stars and Star Wars and got a telescope.
Well, I mean, I guess he kind of mentions that stuff throughout.
Yeah, but no. This is like a
lot.
whole, like, this is like a full-on, like, fake biography. Like,
Oh, that's
like
nuts.
it's telling you everything
That's really
about
nuts.
this guy. I don't know if what that could be from. Like, does Doctor Who have not fake? Does Doctor Who have novelization stuff?
Yes.
Like Star Wars? Okay. I have a feeling a lot of that is in those.
There's books, there's comic books.
Okay. Yeah, there is comic books. I do know that. So, okay, it's got to be from all that stuff. Because it's got to be, like, take characters
It would
from
make sense.
these things and kind of make them into things.
Sure, I could see that because it's going to be like all their adventures that we don't get to see on TV.
Yeah. So this guy, Henry Van Staten, is clearly this bigwig that owns or is operating this underground bunker type of place. We find out that it is his birthday. This assistant comes up and says that the president says hi and happy birthday, and Van Staten's reply is, the president is down 10 points. I'm replacing him. And the assistant is like, do you think that that's a good idea? And he's like, you're fired. Who's next? So you get this. It's a very cartoonish kind of
very cartoony business guy.
look at a businessman, American billionaire, 2005. Right. Yeah. The next one up, because the assistants are all just kind of like standing in a row. So it literally is just like, okay, that guy got fired. And Van Staten is like, make sure like you just kind of like dump him on a road, Minneapolis or I can't even remember, Missouri.
Memphis, Minneapolis,
he says like
something beginning with an M.
Yeah, he wants to go with something beginning with an M. The next assistant comes up and it's this tall woman, very tall.
Oh yeah.
He asks her, who should the next president be, a Democrat or a Republican? And she suggests a Democrat. And he goes, why? And she goes, because they're funny. And he stops them all from walking because they're doing like a walk and talk, like the West Wing.
Oh, it's very a walk and talk bit. Very, very.
He stops them all and he asks for her name. And she goes, Goddard. And he goes, I like you, Goddard. And then he goes, where's my English kid? So again, it's all this stuff.
Yes.
Rachel, I have a bone to pick with you about this English kid.
Go for it. I don't like him, but go for it.
Okay, because
I'm
quite
not a
frankly,
huge fan of this character.
Spoiler alert for the end of this episode. Adam is this character's name, and he gets to go with them for some reason. I hope he doesn't make it.
Do you want me to tell you anything?
No.
Do you want to wait?
I want to wait.
Okay.
So this Adam kid, this pudgy little shit who looks like a British teenager from 2005.
Yeah.
He's got this baby face.
He does have a baby face.
He looks unappealing to me. He does not have an appealing face. But this English kid says that there are... I guess I could call him Adam. I know his name.
But you're playing the bit of the billionaire, so it's fine.
And this billionaire, by the way, I've got to say this.
His bunker is less than Lex Luthor. I just gotta say that too.
It's terrible. It's terrible. He's a shitty Lex Luthor.
Oh,
You're
he's
right,
not a good
Rachel.
Lex. I think
he's
that's
a
kind
shitty
of
Lex
the
Luthor.
feel.
He even like Lex, at least in the Superman movie, had a wig collection. Like, this guy would at least have a wig collection. We know this because there are billionaires today that think they own the internet.
Yes.
And they've gotten hair plugs.
Oh, of course.
So this guy would clearly do that.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he's comfortable with himself. And folks at home, you should be comfortable with yourself.
Of course.
Everyone goes through that. You know, I'm getting older. My hair has got thinner spots on it. So it's like, it's fine. You just have to deal with it like an adult.
You roll with it. Yeah. You don't need to get fake teeth and a lot of work done. You can make your teeth look good, but you don't need to get the veneers in and look fake. Right. Don't make yourself look fake. Yeah, what's
make
the
yourself
point?
look
like
good.
You.
Look good, not fake.
Look healthy.
What the hell was my point of this? Okay,
I don't know.
The English kid says there are 10...
You were going to say something about the billionaire, and then you kind of...
No, I was saying that I was going to say what you ended up saying, where it's like he has this shitty lair, and he's not wearing like a very, like...
He's just wearing a button down that doesn't even look ironed.
today you could compare him to a Musk, or you could compare him to...
True.
Like, I think they were trying to compare him to, like, a Gates back then.
I suppose,
which is
yeah.
weird, but, like...
Yeah, because he's also saying, I'm a genius, and all of this crap, too. Yeah.
But you could compare him to a lot of, like, these billionaires today. It feels like, okay, maybe they're just trying to make, like, their own type of character. It's not, like, it's supposed to be a specific spoof. Because you could have him dressed, like, super fancy, or trying to be hip, or trying to be, like, a Zuckerberg, like, wearing his fuck you flip-flops, or whatever.
Right.
But it seems more just kind of like they didn't go full on in any of those directions necessarily. So to your point, he comes off more as just like kind of like B-level Lex Luthor.
Yes.
Like he's not taking down Superman. That's for damn sure. The English kid says that there are 10 more items that he bought from auction. And before they can kind of go through those items, Goddard? I don't know. Goddard, that's the one. Says that
Wait,
there
is it
are...
Goddard? Because that sounds...
I think you're right. It is
Wait
Goddard.
a minute. No, because isn't that from Jimmy Neutron? Goddard is the dog. Is that how you say her name?
I think that's how you say her name, and I definitely couldn't tell you about the Jimmy Neutron connection. Jimmy Neutron, is he like Kid Doctor Who? He kind of is like a Kid Doctor Who,
Pretty
right?
much,
That's
yeah.
his premise.
Yeah, I mean, he's big-brained, you know.
But he's got
Very
like a
smart.
TARDIS of his own, right? Like he can travel through space and time.
I think just through space. I don't think he can... I don't think he does time.
Okay. Maybe one day we'll do some... If there's a Jimmy Neutron good enough for a Shelf Life Selects, maybe we'll get there.
Could be a Saturday morning cartoon.
A Saturday morning Shelf Life, Rachel.
A Saturday morning Shelf Life, yes.
Goddard says that there were intruders on some level, and they need to like take care of these intruders. Van Staten also says that he wants to visit his pet. So that's the first like indication that we have of like there's something here.
Yes.
Goddard calls this guy named Simmons, who's in a hazmat suit in some room. And I figured this would have given it away if you were a Doctor Who fan, because you get the Dalek's point of view,
Yes.
which
and
is that
it like
blue
pans a little
ball.
bit.
Yeah.
It's almost like a fisheye lens.
Exactly, because it is like the round ball like view that the Dalek has, and Simmons is asked by Goddard like, "Do you have it yet? Like, do you have any progress yet? Is it talking?" And Simmons says it's not talking, but it is doing something, and he's like clearly like torturing it, and you kind of hear that
it's like screaming. Yeah, the voice is probably what
it
people
sounds
are like
a
I know
drill.
What it is.
Yeah. But if you know what it is, then you know what it is. Yeah, and he says it's screaming, so like like they're torturing the thing.
Right.
The English kid is showing him an artifact when they bring the doctor to this office. And the doctor tells Van Staten, don't hold it that way. They're like, well, is it dangerous to hold it that way? And the doctor's like, no, it's just stupid looking. Like, you're not
right.
holding
You're
it
like,
right.
you're just holding it wrong. Like, it looks dumb.
So Van Staten gives it to him, and the doctor shows him that it's a musical instrument. So he like kind of like does like a hoo 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 thing with his fingertips.
Yeah, it's like you pet it, almost.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of like, what's the thing with like the
it's
the Star
like
Trek,
a
sound. What is that called?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. A theremin.
It's like a person's
that
name.
right?
Theremin.
Yes, the doctor uses this thing and plays it with his like fingertips. I read on one of these websites that the melody that he plays is similar to a melody from one of the Dalek episodes. So like that's another
So it's like a callback.
connection.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Van Straten takes it back, like he yanks it out of this guy's hands, and it's like, Van, like calm the fuck down. Like I get it, like you're like a billionaire tyrant, but like, dude, stop this. And he tries to play it, and he does figure it out. So like Van Straten does like understand, like he wants to be able to understand this alien technology.
Right. He doesn't want to just keep it. He wants to understand it too.
Yeah. Well, because as we find out, he's used the alien technology to like come up with broadband and the internet and stuff. So he's using, if it's useful, he's figuring it out, which is why he ends up throwing the instrument away. And I guess like for him, it's not like something that matters.
It's not a useful thing, but I understand it now. But you know, because I'm smart, I can figure this out. But this has no use.
He asks who the doctor is, and he says, "I'm the doctor. Who are you?" And Van Straten says, "Oh, like you don't know. You just came into one of the biggest artifacts or like places where there's like a museum of alien technology and you don't know who I am. Like, bullshit. You just stumbled in here by mistake. How'd you get in?
Yeah,
and the
'cause it doesn't
doctor's
make
like,
any
no,
sense.
doctor's kind of like, that's kind of how I roll. That's kind of my thing. And Van Stratton's like, well, you must be a collector too. You have your little harem over here. You're a prostitute. I love that the first inclination that all of these people that they meet are like, are you banging her? Like, that's the
so
first
gross.
thing that they
It's
all
so
think.
gross.
Like, you could be like, is this your niece?
Right.
Like, there could be a million different explanations
The doctor used
here.
to travel with his granddaughter. Like, come on now.
He has a granddaughter?
Yeah, that's like in the originals.
Okay.
She's the one who termed TARDIS. Didn't we talk about this?
I don't think so.
Oh, so she's the one who actually termed the TARDIS name.
So what happens to her? Is she dead in the Time War?
Actually, I think so. I'm pretty sure.
She went to college, then she got killed in the Time War.
She probably is dead. That's gonna be my guess.
Well, because it wasn't like the first Doctor, like an old man.
Oh yeah, he was an
like,
old ass man. Yeah.
Yeah. Van Stratton says that Rose is very pretty, and Rose, being Rose, is like, well, if you keep referring she as she's gonna kick your ass, or whatever she says.
Like clock you or something. Yeah.
And Van Stratton's like, oh, you got an English one too? I've got an English one right over here. I got an
Our
English guy.
ones could go together.
I got an English guy. I got a German guy over there. There's a French one somewhere over here. I don't know where he's at. Do you have one of those too? So we find out that he owns the internet. And Rose is like, no one owns the internet. And by God, Rachel, they are trying to. We have people that are definitely trying to own the internet.
Absolutely. All around the world.
But I think Van Stratton literally does own the internet. Like, I think that's supposed to be the thing. He controls what websites you get to see and shit like that. I think that's supposed to be more the idea. So maybe he doesn't own the internet, quote unquote, but he controls what you can do or something like that.
Yeah, like he controls a lot of pieces that put it together.
And he says we would just want them to keep thinking that. Like, nobody owns the internet.
Okay, yeah.
I wrote down he's essentially a more accomplished Mark Zuckerberg / Elon Musk.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. He's also way more of a hermit.
Intelligent.
He likes to hide himself away. Oh, yeah, also intelligent, yeah.
Okay.
Both. I mean, Elon Musk is trying to get into space, so...
If Elon Musk got into space, he would do exactly what Van Stratton is doing now.
Yes. He would take advantage of the things that he finds and like
yes, 1,000%.
Uh-huh.
Except for he would also fuck the thing. Like,
he would fuck it first, then he would take advantage of it, and then he would.
The first thing Van Stratton looked for was a hole on the Dalek. That is the first thing he did.
Sadly, I don't disbelieve you. Or I don't. I
Can't dispute
believe
that.
you. I can't dispute it.
So he says that he has like a cage downstairs or on one of these levels, and in it he has one living specimen. And there's a bunch of back and forth between the Doctor and Van Stratton, and the camera's like actually like going back and forth to them, and they're saying like these little phrases of like, you want to see it? And he's like, what do you mean? And he's like, I got a living thing down there. And he's like, okay, I'll look. Like, it's just back and forth to try to give you like these two high egos, large egos.
Yes.
Going back
Kind
and
of
forth
button
with
heads.
each other.
And even Rose points this out. She goes, wow, really smells like testosterone in here. Like,
yeah. So she catches on that they're in this little pissing match or dick measuring contest with each other. Van Stratton tells English boy to watch over the girl, and they can canoodle or spoon or whatever that the English do, and invites the Doctor to go see his pet. Snog would have been the appropriate term, but I do not think that he knows snog.
I don't think he knows much. Well, I think he does, but he also lets on that he knows more than he does.
According to the Wikipedia, there were parents' rights groups that did not like the term canoodling and spooning being used in Doctor Who.
Canoodle. The
like,
word
are you fucking
canoodling
kidding
is
me?
Great.
That's like such like the
that is so
most
nothing.
tame
Spoon. You can't use the word spoon.
Canoodle's a good word. I don't mind the word canoodle. I feel like canoodle can refer more to like they're up to something more than like necessarily a
conspiring a little bit
sexualized
more.
tone. Yeah.
Yeah.
there's signs of life inside the thing, but they can't really like figure out what it is or what it's supposed to do.
Right.
Simmons tells them when they get down there that the Metaltron is resting.
The Metaltron. Stupid.
Yeah, it's a bad
Blowguard
name, and the
so
doctor.
much better.
Blowguard would have been better. The doctor is like Metaltron, and Van Straten says it's a term that he came up with, but he wants to know what its real name is. So Simmons offers the doctor these gloves, and he's like, "Here, you're gonna need these. The last guy that touched it burst into flames." And the doctor's like, "Well, then I won't touch it. Then it is like a good like. Well, then
Like, why would I touch
why
it?
would I try to touch it?" Even the people in the background, including Goddard, are kind of like, "Oh yeah," like he's kind of got them on that. Like, why would he touch the thing? Doctor goes in, and they shut the door on him, and and Van Straten tells them like, "Don't open that door until we get a result."
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor sees these tools on like, it's your typical like
It's like a
doctor
torture
torture
chamber.
rack kind of thing of like, here's like scalpels and like these different tools that they clearly were like torture or trying to torture the thing with.
Or trying to open it. I'm also thinking
Trying
that
to
they were
open
just
it.
trying to open it.
They don't know necessarily that it's armor,
Yeah.
like the aliens from Independence Day.
Yeah, I think they're just like, it's just a robot.
Which I also didn't know that. I thought the Daleks were just robots. I did not know that they were
A little alien inside.
Independence Day aliens, yeah, with wearing armor. But the doctor says like, I'm here to help. Like, I understand that, you know, you've probably been through some stuff, but don't worry, I'm here to help. I'm the doctor.
I've come to help. I'm the doctor. Impossible.
Sir, it's gonna kill him.
It's talking.
And of course, this triggers the Dalek.
And the doctor immediately goes, "Oh my god."
I thought that this could have been played up a little bit better too, a little more dramatically.
Oh
Like
yeah,
like
I would.
nice-
There would have been
a
great
pan
drama.
zoom, a pan zoom in on the doctor, or him being like, "Oh my god," like it's impossible. Like he just goes like, "It can't be," and it's like it's flat. There's no movement to the camera.
Yeah, I wish
felt
there
like
was a little bit more on the doctor's face.
yeah, if there was a little more movement, a little more urgency to the doctor, that would have sold it.
Yeah.
more for me.
I like the light up of the Dalek, where he's like his ears
Yes.
light up. Like I call them
Yep.
the ears. I don't know what the hell those are. Like the little lights on his
the
head.
sensors or something.
Yeah,
yeah,
they light up and he's getting a bit brighter. And then all of a sudden they turn the lights on for some reason. I like that it's like that's the reveal.
Yes.
But I wish there was more of like the panning on the doctor and a little bit more
Yeah.
drama there.
I think that would have helped sell it more. He wants out because he knows the Dalek's gonna shoot him and kill him, but of course Van Straten won't let him out because he's like, "We're finally got the thing to talk. I'm not gonna let him out now."
Right.
But the thing can't kill him. It's
Yeah, he tries
weapons
to, but
are
nothing's
destroyed
shooting.
or something.
Yeah, because he even
He's
looks
shooting
down at
blanks.
his own hand like, damn it, it's not working.
And then the doctor starts laughing in its face, and is pissed, and
Ooh, the doctor becomes
becomes
the
an-
biggest ass.
he
great.
starts going crazy, yeah. And he calls it the Great Space Dustbin. He starts mocking it. He's going nuts. If you can't kill, what's the point of you? You're nothing. Why are you even here? Big
Yep.
piece of shit. You ought to kill yourself. Which he actually
He
does tell him in
does
this.
say that. He actually says that.
When he asks the Dalek what he's waiting for, the Dalek responds that he's waiting for orders.
Right.
And he demands
just a
orders.
soldier.
Like, the Dalek is looking for orders. So he's a soldier Dalek, so I guess that's
Yep.
kind of the idea. Like,
Well, because he
that's
wants.
all the Dalek
'cause-
does.
Yes, he does whatever he's told.
And the doctor tells him his entire race has been wiped out. And he goes, "I made it happen. I killed Mufasa."
Yeah, because even the Dalek's like, "You're lying. You destroyed us. I can't believe this. Like, I'm alone."
Yeah. So, like, the Dalek does get sad because he's like, "I'm alone. Like, I'm the only thing left." And the doctor is like, The doctor actually gets so somber here.
Yes.
I thought this was going to be when the Doctor kind of realizes the gravity of his actions. He kind of does. I think it takes the entire episode to really feel the gravity of his actions.
I think he always feels the gravity of it. I think he just got very vindictive here because he's so angry that it's a Dalek.
Yeah. He says he had no choice. He had to do it. So this is where you kind of figure... This is where I snarkily say, okay, so the Doctor committed genocide. That's good to know.
Yes. Yes. Because then he even says, like, well, what... And the Dalek asks, well, what of the Time Lords?
And he says, no, they're all dead too.
Everybody burned together.
Yeah. So that... And the Dalek is like, oh, okay, so then the coward... You're a coward then. Because he's trying to get back at
That's pretty...
Dr.
I think that's what the Dalek's saying.
Yeah, by saying, like... If you were so righteous, it would be you in that thing. He would have taken himself out too. Which the Doctor, I think, is trying to say, like, I thought I was taking myself out too, but for some reason I survived.
And the Doctor spitefully goes, oh, but I picked up on your signal. Help me. I need help. Like, he, like, starts,
so he's
like,
saying
coming after
you're
him
the
like
coward.
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the Dalek's like, I'm alone. And he, like, all of a sudden, he feels that now.
Right. It's an interesting dynamic between
And he calls them
the
same.
Yes, he says, like, we're the same. We're both alone. We're both warriors. Or we were both soldiers in the Time War, so we're pretty much the same.
Yes.
And the Dalek is sad that he's alone in the universe. But he's like, so are you, Doctor. Like, we're both alone.
Yes.
I can't tell if the Dalek is being a bit understanding here, or if it's, like, being manipulative. It's probably more being manipulative.
I feel it's got to be more manipulative at this point.
At this point. I do think it's an interesting dynamic, because if you put it in the context of the Dalek is a fascist that's just kind of out to, like, get rid of anything that's not itself, then how do you deal with that type of character? Mm-hmm. And I think that that's interesting because, like, the Doctor just explodes and feeds into its hate.
Yes, absolutely.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
I think it's a lesson for today, and I don't know what the right answer is, but we have human beings in this world where I think a lot of them would shut the fuck up if you just didn't engage.
Yes.
And I think that the Dalek is trying to get the Doctor to engage with it.
Right.
And I think that's kind of one of those things where it's like, if you have a being like this, don't engage with it.
Right.
Because that's what it's trying to get you emotional and worked up, because it doesn't really give a shit.
No, it's out for itself.
It's just trying to get you to be pissed off.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. It's riling you up.
It's a nice thing to remember for all of you out there.
Shelf life lessons. The
Doctor says he's going to exterminate him and starts electrocuting him. The Dalek asks for pity, so he's actually, like, trying to get the Doctor's sympathies here.
Right.
But Van Staten stops him before he can kill the Dalek. Staten wants this thing to acknowledge him, I wrote, because he's like, you will know my name, and all I could think of was Roman Reigns being like, acknowledge me. It's the same energy.
It is. It really is.
But it won't give him the pleasure, so Staten will resume the torture. I did read that there was one draft of this. The Dalek could have exterminated the humans. He couldn't exterminate the Doctor for some reason. In the script where he could have exterminated the humans, he thought it was beneath him, or it, to kill these humans because they were being so, like, they're just, like, beneath it. Yeah. So, and torturing it and trying to just get it to, like, talk to it. So it refused, and that's why it wouldn't, like, talk. So I think they changed it to just being like, I refuse to talk to you because, like, you're beneath me. Yeah. So I kind of like that idea. Like, I liked how it morphed into
I like that. Yeah. That's much better.
Meanwhile, Rose is seeing some stuff in this workshop that Adam has. He says it is the English boy. And he's trying to tell Rose, like, yeah, actually, all these aliens exist and all this stuff's been around forever. And, like, we just find it every once in a while and buy it. And it's kind of crazy. And Rose is like, oh, yeah, it's crazy, all right.
Cool. Incredible. Hard to believe.
And she's like, so what do? You like catalog it all? And he's like, yeah, pretty much. And he's like, can you imagine if you would see it all for real? And he thinks like, it would be kind of crazy to actually be out there. And Rose is like, well, there's some people that say that they've been kidnapped by aliens and stuff, so maybe they have seen it. And he's like, yeah, they're all nutters though. And she's like, yeah, that's true. So you're getting this little back and forth. This is supposed to be, and the score would indicate to you that you're supposed to feel like these two are flirting.
Attracted to one another.
Yeah. And again,
He's
Rachel,
annoying.
I don't know how to
gross.
describe him. He's so bland and nondescript.
Yes. I think it's the bland.
I think
He's just,
that's
there's
my
nothing
problem.
to him.
He's so bland.
Yeah.
Like bland looking, he seems bland. He just seems bland.
He's very bland. Butter on toast. Isn't that like a saying?
I think so. But yes, and the British do love shit on toast. So,
Well, it's interesting that they're having Rose be so attracted to this guy. And I don't know if it's just because he's supposed to have like this passion for something and he's like really excited about it and he like wants to adventure and she understands that, and it's like one of those things that she's like feeling that type of like connection.
Yeah.
But he's
maybe
so
so. I think it's all supposed to be that he has traits that are Doctor-esque. So he's like a genius.
True.
And he knows all this stuff or likes all this stuff about space. He says that when he was, and he's very confident. He's got an ego too.
Yes.
So he said that when he was 8,
Definitely.
he almost caused World War III because he hacked into the U.S. Pentagon or something.
Because it was fun.
Yeah.
That's what he
and
says,
he uses
right? Or
he uses the
funny?
term fantastic. I can't remember what he says, but he does use the word term
It's
fantastic.
just fantastic. And then, yeah, that's true. So she is kind of seeing the Doctor in him. I think that's also very true. But he's just so...
Yeah. He's just kind of blah to me.
Yeah.
Folks, let us know if you disagree. And I do not know where this character is going, but I'd love to know what people think about this character once we finish the volume, because I did not like this character. And then when he walks into the TARDIS, I was like, really? Really? We're taking this guy? This is the guy we're taking with?
Why not Mickey? That's so not fair. I guess because Mickey didn't want to come. But come on.
And I didn't like Mickey at first either, but you developed him into... Like, he had
developed.
a personality to start with, too.
Yes.
He asks, because, again, everyone just assumes that she's some concubine. Are they? And Rose goes, no, we're just friends. And he goes, good. And she's like, oh, why?
It's not
her mouth moves around.
Yeah, she does flirt with it. That is her biggest flirting tool.
That's her flirt move, as she moves her lower jaw back and forth.
Well, she does have like a great jaw structure. Like she
has a lot of
structure.
jaw, yeah.
So it makes sense.
So dude likes her. Oh, this is actually what I wrote down. Like,
You just wrote what you just said when you wrote, and I could tell. Dude likes her. Like,
But
yep.
he looks like a doughy Brit. That's what I wrote. And he's got British all over him. If I saw this guy
does look
walking down the
British.
street, I'd be like, that's a British man.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but yeah.
She flirts with him to get into the communication system, I thought. It was a way that she was like, okay, I can see
That's
what
true.
they're doing down there.
She probably is also using her wilds, her womanly wilds.
Well, I think that she is flirting with him, but she's
Yeah.
like, can we check this thing out? Like,
Right.
And
yes.
she hears it screaming as it is tortured, and she demands to go down there. She's like, where's the doctor? The doctor wouldn't allow for this, because she's seen the doctor get upset about the pig man. So, like, she knows that the doctor
Right. So
cares
she knows
about
that
these creatures.
he has exactly. He has a heart. He wants to help. He came to the distress call, So now
Yeah.
she's thinking it's you guys. You guys are the ones torturing this. That's of course it's screaming for help.
The doctor explains what a Dalek is to Van Straten, and it was genetically engineered by a genius of his own little world. And he says Van Straten would like him because he sees Davos or whatever you
Davos?
said. Yeah,
It's okay. You don't have to know the name right now.
Well, Davos Seaworth did the Onion Knight make the Daleks, Rachel?
The Onion Knight. Oh my
Game of
god,
Thrones.
Davos
His name's
from freaking
Davos.
Game of Thrones. It is like the same name.
George R. R. Martin could have named,
Oh, I could see that.
because
But I mean, that would be a very
nerd.
bad character to name a very nice character after.
They say it was there for decades, the Daleks. So
Yes.
it clearly something with the time war. You know, John Connor and the Terminators are fighting each other.
Stuff opens
and then
up.
John Connor opens up a time tube or whatever,
Right.
and stuff just gets thrown in there.
Yes.
So, like, a Terminator went through, a fucking Dalek went
That's
through,
right.
the Doctor went through, Kyle Reese is in there now.
Right.
All that shit just gets thrown in, and they didn't know where it was going to end up. So it's been there for decades, they say, and then it's moved around from, like, auction to auction, and now it's ended up with Van Straten. And at this point, I was like, Doctor, I don't know if I'd be telling Van Straten all this stuff about your time war and shit. One, it sounds crazy. And two, you're telling what's clearly an evil man
Yes.
all about the secrets of the universe here.
I wouldn't tell the man anything. Like, don't even teach him anything about the stuff he has. Like, I don't trust him. How do you
No.
trust him? Why would you even tell him this is a musical instrument? Like,
This is the second or third time in 6 episodes that the Doctor has been, like, simultaneously smarter than everyone and more naive than everyone.
yeah, I think it's
very
because he
weird.
wants to be able to trust people. I think he has this
Yeah.
thing with trust. He like wants to trust them, but he all doesn't trust them. But then he like is very naive, and then at the same time he's like, I'm not gonna do anything. I don't know. It. You can tell that this Bugs Bunny character is very conflicted.
Yes, there's conflict to the Bugs Bunny character. Internal conflict
That's
to the
right.
Bugs Bunny character. Van Straten is like, well, actually, wait a minute. Now, you're saying that you're also an alien? And the Doctor's like, yeah, I'm, from Gallifrey or whatever. And the Doctor, and he doesn't actually tell him that, but he does say, like, yeah, I'm an alien. And Straten's like, oh, well, then that means that I can also play with you. So
Which
they
is
hook.
weird.
So then he immediately tries and looks for a hole on the Doctor. And then he...
Which I
So
would
we don't know what
imagine-
happened
never
there.
mind. But he's strapped up, domineered style.
Yeah, he's got him on a... He's gonna fucking flay him.
He's-
He's got him on like on a
chained
big
up.
X.
And he's on like one of those rollaway things that like
Oh, you think they're gonna stretch his limbs out? You think
I
that was
don't
gonna
know
be the thing?
because like the thing he's on, it's like are you going to like bleed him dry too? I'm like
That's
this
what
is
I was thinking. That it's
creepy.
like he's like a fucking who's the Game of Thrones house that flays the guys?
Oh yeah, because they have that
their
on their
name?
flag. Ramsey.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Ugh.
Boltons. The Boltons.
The
Yeah.
Boltons.
Was Van Straten a Bolton? They're gonna just
Ugh.
drain his blood.
He looks like a Bolton. I'd believe it.
He does kind of look like a Bolton.
I'd believe
I would
it.
not. I wouldn't put that past him. They do these painful X-rays on the Doctor. Like the
Yes.
Doctor is
It's
hurt
like they're just
by
like
this
truly
technology.
shooting him with this stuff though. Like they're just shooting him with rays.
This is where we see that he has a bicameral legislature of a heart here.
He has two
He has 2 hearts. I think you've mentioned that, Rachel, where like
Yes.
he has 2 of everything.
No, just to 2 hearts. As far as
Oh,
I
really?
know.
Oh, I
As
thought
far
that
as I
he
know,
has,
it's
like-
only 2 hearts.
2 stomachs, 2 livers, and that.
You know, he might have
okay,
4
2
stomachs
hearts.
like a cow. We don't know.
I would love that. And the Doctor accuses him of not really being much of a collector. He's more of a scavenger. When
Mm-hmm.
they find alien shit, he he recognizes whatever's shooting him, and he's like, "Oh, you're like a scavenger.
Yes.
You like go to like these sites and stuff and like grab things." He says that he got broadband from the Roswell crash. They found the cure for the common cold in some meteor. But he's like, I'm not going to actually tell anybody about that one because we can sell more drugs just by, knowing what the cure is than actually giving people the cure.
Which
So it's a conspiracy theory.
he is a villain.
This is Doctor Who is actually, folks at home, Doctor
no.
Who is telling us real secret information about what the pharmaceuticals do not want you to know. And the only way that you can get the truth is by getting my dear serum that you can inject right into your bloodstream. That's selling for $39.95 over on prisonplanet.com.
Oh God.
Anyway,
Gross.
the doctor is giving it to Van Straten because he says a Dalek is honest. A Dalek only knows to do one thing. A Dalek knows that the only thing that it's supposed to do is kill.
Right.
They do it for their survival. They think that they're doing this because they have to do it. Van Straten doesn't have to do any of this. So Van Straten is worse than a Dalek. Let's take that for what you will.
Yeah, I mean that's a heavy
Coming from the doctor,
right
for sure.
Yeah.
And the doctor says that the Dalek is going to get out. No one is safe, and they continue to zap the doctor. Rose and Adam are able to get in. Come on, Simmons. What the fuck are you doing here? They let Adam in with Adam's clearance. He's like, hey, I've got clearance here from Van Straten. I can go into this.
I mean, I guess if he's saying like, oh, he wanted me to come in here, he's telling me to bring the assistant down.
I feel like these yes men though, like with a guy like Van Straten, you'd be like checking with Goddard or something about.
Oh my God,
are we supposed to be letting Adam in here?
Absolutely, there'd be like a lot of chain of command here. Little intern wouldn't just be able to come down to the live alien.
I don't think so. I think that at the most, like Simmons would be like, if you really were, then like he would have given us a heads up that
like,
you're
where's the
supposed to be
paperwork
down
for
here.
it? Yeah.
Yeah. Rose talks to the Dalek and falls for this deception of it being hurt and in pain. And at first, I think it's true. Like it's saying, like I'm in pain. I just want to die. Please just let me die.
Yes.
And then she says, well, it's okay. Like, I have a friend here, the doctor, because she doesn't know that the doctor has met this thing.
Exactly.
He can help you. So now I think the Dalek is like, okay, I can use this to try to get the fuck out of here.
You don't realize that the doctor doesn't like me. You seem sympathetic. Good. Pity me.
Well, there is this back and forth throughout the episode between this Dalek and Rose about fear. So fear is a theme here. Mm-hmm. Like the Scarecrow and Batman before them. The Dalek and Rose are having this moment.
Right.
Because the Dalek goes,
still they fear me. Do you fear me?
No.
I welcome death. But I am glad that before I die, I have met a human who was not afraid.
and it says that it's upset that it'll die alone. And when it says this, it gets Rose's sympathies enough that Rose does touch it, which we've heard the last thing that touched it. Yeah. So it clearly had its defenses up and let the guy burst into flames and is letting Rose touch it.
And for a specific reason, because he knows if she's a friend of the doctor, well, you've been in that
she's a time traveler. Yeah.
Right.
So she touches it and it absorbs her genetic material and it starts reconstructing itself with her DNA, I think.
Right.
Like, does it need time traveler DNA to be able to do that? It
needed a time traveler piece for it to work. So I think it's like helping to reconstruct himself, probably in a faster like regeneration type of way, because of the time traveler piece. I think it's fixing the machinery and probably also helping him recover because he hasn't been like doing anything and it's probably like all broken.
Right. Well, they say it's been there for decades and it really hasn't done anything. So you're right. Like it's waiting for
his
orders.
body was kind of like falling
anything.
apart, and his machinery is falling apart.
So yeah, now it breaks free of its change and it starts kind of reconstituting itself. I wish that they would have had a budget for more of an orchestral score in this series for this scene. They could have had
like a really great like score for the Daleks.
A good choir sound would have been good for the Dalek getting back into power here of like that, like a ho 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 ho.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Yeah,
if it has a theme
later. I want to say that is something that happens. Is there is like a ha 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 like music for the Daleks.
Yeah.
Later on.
Well, because like Murray Gold does make these scores more complex and cinematic, I think, as the obviously, because I know some of the tracks and I know outside of the Rose track, and I think that's not even yet, that some of these get more complex as you go along, like the Doctor Forever and all that shit.
Absolutely.
it feels like there should be that
That's
there should be a menacing,
absolutely.
choiry, spatial score to the Daleks' vindictiveness and hate
Absolutely.
to me.
It works
Okay.
very well.
The Simmons guy comes in and he's like, "What have you done?" And then it's just like, what the fuck?
Well,
So this thing's got like a plunger on its nose, and
it's one of its hands.
or whatever.
of
And
its hands.
Simmons is like, "What are you gonna do with what is that? What is this?" And it suckers him to death. Rachel, what is this? What is this?
Maybe it's a very slow death. He is like actually like sucking in his
That's-
face,
yeah,
so
that
that
would
he
work.
can be tortured.
Oh yeah, that would work. They said that they did have behind the scenes where they had it. The Dalek takes its face off, or takes the
That would've
guy's
been
face off.
great. Oh, I would have loved that. It's too dark, but I would have loved
they-
that.
They didn't think that the BBC would let them get away with it, so they cut
Oh,
that
it
part.
would have been so good. Oh, somebody get me like the R-rated version of Doctor Who, where it's just super violent.
It tells them to release it if you want to live. They do right away.
Well, they lock him in. They lock
They
him
lock
into...
it into the
Yes.
cage. But now that it's like got access to stuff, oh, that's what they say. Release me if you want to live. So we go back to the doctor, and the doctor's like, they tell Van Straten that the Dalek is out, and the doctor's like, well, you better release me if you want to live. And they immediately do. Like the
Yes.
next scene is just them running with the
Well,
doctor,
I
and
think
I was like,
because Stratton isn't stupid, but he's
no,
stupid.
I get that. Like, it's
So he's
like,
like,
okay,
well,
just
yeah,
trim
you're
the,
right, 'cause I
just
don't know
trim
how
the
to deal with
fat.
him.
Like, don't even bother. Like, yeah, like, okay, fine. Like, there's no negotiation of it. It's just like, okay, fine. I believe you.
It doesn't mean that he's going to let him leave the compound. It just means you can deal with the Dalek.
Right. They've got him caught in the cage, and they're like, don't worry, like, that code is 20 digits long or something. Like, it'll take forever for the thing to be able to figure it out. And of course, because it's Doctor Who and everything needs to be overpowered, the doctor's like, no, it's like a genius. It can figure out millions of combinations in a nanosecond. Because it's just the most badass thing you've ever seen. It'll fucking eat your face. So the Dalek figures out what the combination is right away and gets out. I like the fact
They're just top
that...
tier hackers. That's all. They're fine.
Yeah, that's all. Well, you saw that thing. That looks like every like internet troll you've ever seen. It's just this little squid eyeball creature. That looks like every time you read a comment on the internet, that's what I picture. It's either somebody that's got Cheeto dust all over them, or it's a fucking Dalek without its armor on.
That's right. That's right. It does look kind of like it's just lazing about inside of the...
Yeah, with a brain that looks like it's like got cobwebs on it.
It actually
So-
might. He's been around for so long. Spiders are
I
probably in
like.
there.
Yeah, spider probably could get in there. There are spiders in here.
I've made friends with the spiders. It's laid eggs next to my face.
They're chewing on my tendrils.
Tendrils.
I like the way that this thing gets out and it kind of ignores all of them.
Yes.
Because again, it's like, I don't fucking care. And it starts like rolling
Just
away.
wants the doctor.
All of them start firing on
Oh, it goes straight. It actually goes straight to the camera.
It goes to the camera because it crushes the camera that the doctor's on.
Mm-hmm.
And then by breaking the screen, I guess, it starts sucking electricity and starts
I think it's
repairing itself,
connecting to the network through the feed from the camera.
which is not how that works.
I
But
would
fine.
agree. I would agree.
In 2005, we thought by 2012 we'd have technology like that, I guess.
I have no idea. It's taken down the internet though, like from the U.S., like the whole Western.
Well, it takes down... I couldn't tell if it took down the whole
Or is it
grid.
the energy? Is it like the whole
Yeah,
grid?
I don't
Oh
know.
my god.
Yeah.
Okay, so the whole grid goes down.
But the doctor says it downloaded the entire internet, and I
Yep,
was like,
it did that at the
"All
exact
right."
same time. You know, we got the grid of power down, and it also hit the internet, and it learned all the things. You know, like the fifth
Yeah,
element.
learned everything, like Ultron. Yeah.
Also, Ultron.
Also everything ever. So they're at backup power now in the underground bunker. And the Dalek... Now, first of all, if you're a brain, I get it, you're a super genius that can do everything in a nanosecond. If you downloaded the entire internet, the amount of porn that Dalek has to scrub through to, like, get to something that's, like, necessary for it. It's more porn. It's more porn. It's more porn. Political discussion. Porn. Porn.
Political
Porn.
porn.
Sally's babies. Sally's babies. Cat. Cat. Porn.
Meme.
Meme of me. Meme of me.
2000s. It's a meme. It's just memes everywhere.
So the Daleks just starts blasting shit. They send security down as the Dalek starts taking these guys out. Because, like, I do like that the Dalek's like, please. I just start shooting the shit out of them.
Yeah, keep shooting me. Yeah, okay.
We get Matrix Cam of it stopping these bullets.
Yes.
And it
It
is
has, like, a
indestructible.
shield.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what the hell this was. Because I was like, is it absorbing
Isn't it
the
a force
bullets? Like,
field?
what's happening? Yeah, so it magnetos these bullets.
Yeah, it's like that, yeah.
They're Van Stratton, they're like, okay, should we, like, retreat here? Like, the bullets are clearly not doing anything. And he's like, no, I don't even want them to get a scratch on it. They're dispensable. That thing is not. It's unique. They could have, in an interesting way, gone kind of the collector, like the Marvel collector on this, and made it so that this guy was, like, obsessed with collectibles.
Right.
That could have been an interesting way to take this too. They don't fully go there. They could have committed
It feels
to
like
that.
they could have, and it might have been better if they did.
He could have been a recurring character then.
Oh my gosh,
Like,
yes.
like the collector in Marvel. The Dalek zaps these guys. They turn into skeletons before they fall to
I
the
think
ground.
it's kind of like he's hitting them with like a radioactive blast.
Oh, that's
so
what
it
you think?
kind
Is
of
that
like so it's like you see the skeleton and then they drop type of thing, maybe.
Okay, I thought it was like electricity, but
It could be.
the skeletons
I don't know.
are like a
I'm just
bluish
thinking
green.
you see the skeleton.
So
It's my guess.
I appreciate the effort that they go through to just make one of these seem menacing and indestructible.
Yeah.
Because I know that there are episodes out there where there's multiple of these, and I'm sure that they're not
Mm-hmm.
on Earth necessarily, but I like the idea that, like, humans aren't going to take this damn thing down.
Right.
It's just going to keep killing until it can't stop.
Considering there's the war between the Time Lords and Daleks, like, you
Yeah.
know it has to be strong. It has
Yeah.
to be.
And it just keeps moving down the hallway.
Yes.
So Rose and Adam and this other guard, this
One of the
lady
guards.
guard,
Yeah.
is there with them. And they go into a stairwell and they start going up the stairs. And you get, at first you think you have a RoboCop moment here because Ed 209 can't get up the stairs. It's just going to stare at it. And Adam, like a little shit that he is
Truly.
is
It's a
like,
great
you
way
can't
to
get up the
describe him.
stairs. You can't get up the stairs, can you little robot? And the soldier is like, look, Dalek, why don't you just go back in your cage? We can negotiate letting you, like, go. Like, it was wrong to imprison you. I get that,
But we
but we
can't
can
let more people
negotiate
die.
this. Yeah. So she demands it surrenders. And instead of saying surrender, because I thought it was going to be like
He
a
would
thing
never do
where...
that.
I was thinking it was going to be a thing where, like, oh, a Dalek never surrenders, or
Which is
something
true.
like that.
But he's like, I'm not even going to acknowledge you. Like, screw you.
Yeah. Elevate. And it...
Yep.
I thought this has to be, like, a classic thing, right? Where, like, were
hovering.
people waiting for the Dalek to elevate?
I don't know. I would like
Or
to
was
know
this,
that.
like, new-
Were they
something
able to
new?
technically hover and fly before? Or is this like a new thing? Is it like a little spaceship that it flies around in? Is it not just like a body? A lot of questions.
A lot of questions. It's kind of like when R2-D2 could suddenly fly.
Yes. Yeah.
R2-D2 could be related to the Daleks.
Oh, I have no doubt. The heads, the eye, you know.
They could have been like before they were genetically mutated or whatever. It's
You
like,
don't know.
no, just have these little R2-D2s. They were Daleks, or now they're Daleks. You know,
R2-D2 might have a little squid
You
guy
know.
inside of him. You don't know.
I was gonna put a little squid guy inside of R2-D2, but the Daleks actually beat me to it. Very few things have beat me to it, but that's one of them. Otherwise, I would have gotten my lawyer on the phone right away. And then I saw that Dalek floating, and I was like, oh, I don't know about that. Looks kind of like my R2-D2.
I feel like
I gotta do these bits so that you have something to cut. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You don't. So I have stuff to cut. Is that what you just said?
I'm joking.
I'm keeping it. I'm
Okay.
keeping all of your bits. You can't stop me.
I'm aware.
I'm also going to
sorry.
keep that for one of the trailers.
I'm sure you will. So what were you saying?
I don't know now.
Okay. I will move on.
All right, moving on.
Or let's move on. Okay. Anyway, Adam and Rose run, but Rose wants to bring the soldier with. She says no, somebody has to try to stop it. And the Dalek, of course, takes her down pretty easy, because what's this fucking broad gonna do?
Right, she's just shooting at it like everybody else is. Like, it's not doing anything.
Van Straten says, this thing has to have some sort of goal. We can reason with it. And the doctor says, one time, back when I was in Africa, we were searching for these... So he gives some men just want to watch the world burn speech to Van Straten.
He does. Because he even asks him, like, what's the nearest city? How many people are there? They're all dead. Like, that's what it wants to do. It wants to kill. That's what it's going to do.
It just kills. It is a pure eating machine. The only thing this thing does is eat and make little baby sharks.
I can't imagine little baby Dalek sharks. Little Daleks, like little tiny ones. So they have like the big ones, and then there's like the little baby ones, and the little baby like the little robots,
cute,
and they're like flying around.
Yeah, it's a little cute little Nazi.
I like the Daleks, but you put it in that perspective, and it's just like, oh.
That's what they're going for.
Oh, it is. It's true. I mean, they're horrible. I don't like them. But I like them.
No, yeah, they're good characters.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sure we have many a picture of you next to one from Comic-Con.
Oh, absolutely.
Was the last one that we go to, was there one rolling around? I can't remember. I know we've been to one where people have made working ones too.
Yes, there's typically working ones. I think there was a guy that had his. I think he was inside of it and like actually driving it around.
That might be right, yeah, because there's usually like remote control ones at the very least. Because I know like R2-D2 is usually at them and BB-8.
Mm-hmm. But the Daleks are a big one too, and I do like that. There's always that one booth that has the TARDIS and the Dalek, and I like getting a picture with it.
Yeah. The doctor explains here that they think that anything different should die. It's racial cleansing. Like, he even says it. It's just pure racial cleansing. He says Van Straten let it loose. And I was like, no, Doctor. Rose let it loose. This is actually kind of on Rose. But
it is on Rose.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like, I think he's just blaming him because he's like, but you're like collecting all of these things and you're not even thinking about
understand them.
What they're doing or what it means.
Yeah. I thought it was because he was going to kill it.
Yes.
And then Van Straten wouldn't let him kill it.
Absolutely. If you let me just kill it, it would have been fine. And I think he also is not blaming Rose because he knows Rose was looking at it as a thing that needed help, and she didn't understand either.
I don't know if he fully... No, I guess he does. By the end, he does fully understand, like, because the Dalek kind of is like, I touched your girl, or whatever.
Pretty much. Your girl touched me, and then I was able to fix myself.
Your girl touched me, Doctor.
Make it real weird.
So he gives them some advice to go for the eyepiece or something, and the sergeant from Avatar archetype guy dismisses it and says, I don't need some fucking useless information from... When I want information about how to kill an alien from another alien, I'll get it. But you can stand down, you piece of shit.
Yeah. Idiot. This guy deserves it.
Fucking idiot. You're being told by an alien who is an alien expert
where to
specifically on these things that it is telling you it's been to war with where to shoot, and you are ignoring it.
It's so dumb.
Rose and Adam run in while all these army or security guys... I think it's a private army. I think we're dealing with kind of a Blackwater situation here, where it's like these assassins or these like mercenary types all just work for this guy.
It does kind of feel that way. I could see that. Yeah.
Rose and Adam run into this room. And I was like, 2012, mercenary type guys. They didn't shoot her.
Surprising.
I don't know, Doctor Who. I've accepted
There would have been like a
all
shots fired,
lore.
and then they'd be like, "Hold your fire!" Like they're humans.
Yeah, there should have been like a shot that they dodge, and then it's a hold your fire. Yeah,
like a warning shot to the ground.
But there's no initial shot. The Dalek zooms in on Rose and like looks at her. I don't know what they were going for there with that, because Rose is even like, it looked at me, like it understood me, like it recognized me. And it's like, well, yeah, you were just in the other room with it 10 minutes ago.
Well,
but I think I know what they were trying to get at.
I think it's less of it looked at me, it knows who I am. It's I'm feeling something looking at you.
Yeah. They open fire on the Dalek, and the score comes up. It works here. I think the score works in this scene a bit. The Doctor says, because they're like, what's it doing? Because it's just sitting there. And again, it's a good way to show like the badassery of the Dalek, because it's just like, watch this, Doc. And it just is like, yeah, it wants us to witness this. The Dalek lets them waste their ammo for a while, and it elevates itself into the air. It shoots a fire alarm, causing the sprinklers to go off. And this is where I thought, oh, I know what this setting reminds me of. Every 1980s B movie I've ever seen.
Yes.
Because it's like, oh, we're in this like 1980s B movie warehouse.
It really is. Oh
I don't know how did nobody have a railing death? Somebody should have tipped over the railing, and we should have gotten a good
Wilhelm scream.
A Wilhelm scream? A dummy falling off of the top?
Oh, it would have been such a good callback. I still remember one of the Doctor Who one of the few Doctor Who episodes I have watched that were from like the originals. There was a falling off a cliff death of one of the bad guys, and it was a beautiful dummy that just like hit, and it just like spun in a circle with its arms out. It was amazing.
I don't care how fake it looks. A good dummy death is one of my most favorite things. We need to bring it back, because most of the deaths are now just CGI, or like in this scene. So what happens is it electrocutes the floor with the water, and then all of the people on the ground floor die. And the Sergeant Avatar guy is like, get out of here. It's not literally that guy, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
He's like, get out of here. And then he like, the Dalek kind of stops them from getting out of there for a second.
Yeah, he shoots them up there too.
And then he just shoots them because they're like, well, that's all wet too, you fucking idiots. So he kills them too.
And they just kind of like hang through the railing.
Yeah, they all just kind of like slump over. And it's like,
they just
ragdoll. Perfect time. Perfect time for a railing
One
death.
of them falling over it. They just didn't have the cushion at the bottom, or the person who can.
You need that stunt man that can do it.
That stunt man. Or the one who's just willing to sign the waiver and say, I'll fall.
But yeah, nowadays it's all CGI, or it's like this where they all slump over dead. I want a good dummy falling off a cliff. It's just a nice... It comforts me.
It's a very comforting moment.
Some of these extras, Rachel, you go back and watch this episode, they look pretty British. This is where I was like, some of these guys look pretty British. I don't know why. I don't even know what that means. But there's something about the facial structure that just looks more like... I think it's true.
I think you kind of have that like cultural look sometimes. Like you definitely look like where you're from. I think it happens.
Van Straten says we should abandon this place, because now he's like, okay, clearly nothing's going to work, so we just need to get the hell out of here. Or we need to seal the vault.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, we can't really get out of here. There's no power. We're kind of stuck here now. And so they're like, okay, well, why don't we seal the vault in? So they're saying, like, we'll just stop him from being able to get to another floor. And it'll just kind of be stuck
he'll
there.
Be locked in, since it's like designed for a nuclear war. Why wouldn't it like stop a Dalek type of thing?
Yeah. But before they could kind of do anything, because I think Doctor's even like, I need to get Rose out of there, though. Like, I can't leave Rose down there with it. And before anything can happen, the Dalek turns on like a camera, like one of the like, closed circuit cameras that are all over the place in there, and says that I want to speak to the doctor.
He explains what he did, like how he's like fixed himself.
Yeah,
through Rose.
he's yeah, exactly. He says like, I fixed myself. I touched your girl. Yeah, this is where he's like, your girl went out with me last night, doctor.
And now I'm regenerated.
And she touched me. And it says Rachel's like, now I can never watch this damn episode.
Well, he's also saying I searched. I looked.
Yeah.
I tried
I looked
to
for Daleks.
He was like fact checking the doctor. I think is what it really is.
That's what he's saying. I fact checked. I tried to find the doctors and the Daleks, and doctor's like, and what'd you find? And he's like, they're all gone.
Like, where am I supposed to get my orders? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, he's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do anymore. And doctor's like, well, the doctor tries to reason with it for a second here.
Yeah, because it says I'm going to do primary directive, which is to destroy and to conquer.
But before he says that, the doctor's like, there's no point of doing that stuff. Oh, maybe he says it and then the doctor's
he's saying
like,
it because of
no
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so he says, like, I'm going to do the primary thing, which is just, I'm going to destroy. And the doctor's like, but why? Like, what's the point? There's no more Daleks.
Right.
What is your goal by destroying? So he's, like, trying to question the Daleks' logic, right?
And it's interesting because the Dalek is actually asking him, like, well, what should I do then? What am I supposed to do?
The Dalek is kind of like...
I know.
Yeah, like, I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. It's very much, again, reminiscent of trying to debate with people today that have the Dalek mindset.
Yeah. And he goes, like the Daleks have to survive, and this is when the doctor says you should kill yourself.
Yeah, kill yourself then. Like, why don't you just go kill yourself?
You don't have no reason to live.
Yeah. And the Dalek says, but I have to survive. The Daleks have to survive. Mm-hmm. And the doctor, like a rabid animal...
Oh my god.
...goes on this rant.
Yes.
And...
Like, angry, scary
literally,
rant.
Christopher Eccleston foams at the mouth.
Bubbles everywhere.
If you want orders, follow this one. Kill yourself.
The Daleks must survive!
The Daleks have failed! Why don't you finish the job and make the Daleks extinct? Rid the universe of your filth! Why don't you just die?
You would make a good Dalek.
I love the Dalek letting him do this, like, whole foaming at the mouth, like, why don't you just kill yourself? And the Dalek just goes, you would make a good Dalek. It's the most insulting thing the Dalek can say to him. Because he's like, you're acting like a Dalek. Like,
you're telling me to die.
Yeah, all you're thinking about is, like, you need to die. I'm going to kill you.
You're killing anything that you think needs to die. You'd make
it's
a
a very
Dalek.
nice moment. Very nice moment.
Also, I feel like he also maybe have gotten a little bit of that cheekiness from Rose. You never know. A little cheeky.
All right. Yeah. I like that. I like that interpretation as well. Because Rose is a little cheeky one. She is.
And since he kind of got feelings, we'll figure that out a little bit. But, like, he does have, like, feelings now, which isn't, like, a Dalek thing. You're not supposed to.
At the same time that Van Straten is working on closing this vault, I guess you have to, like, press stuff simultaneously, like turning the key at the same time. So Van Straten needs to, like, put in, like, this sequence to, like, close the vault on the computer while they're going to have the doctor, like, press something to close the bulkheads, which will close all these doors, and then the Dalek will just be stuck. But he won't do it because he has to wait for Rose to get out. He wants to give Rose enough time.
Right. So they're running.
But he does press it. So he, in his mind, it's more important to stop the Dalek than to let Rose get out.
Yes.
Rose takes umbrage with this later on, but in the very last episode, she was willing to sacrifice herself for the world. So
I don't know if she was sacrificing herself. I think she knew that the doctor would figure it out and would keep them alive. I don't think she thought, oh, we're going to die.
She technically figures it out.
Because she said, I'm not going to die. She refuses.
Yeah. Okay.
But in this one, it's kind of like, You kind of sealed me in here, Doc. Thanks.
Yeah. Now, I also get that Rose and Adam have been running throughout this whole facility, so they're probably pretty tired, but I don't know why they directed the shot like this, but there's like a shot, like a straight on shot of Rose running towards this door.
Yes.
And she's clearly not sprinting. She's like kind of like doing like a little jog.
Yeah.
It took me out of the moment for a second because I was like, run, goddammit! Run towards the door!
But I think you're right. I think it's because like I think the whole thought is, one, she's not fast enough, but also she's tired. She's been running up and down stairs, running through hallways, trying to get away from the Dalek. Yeah. Adrenaline is pumping like crazy. She's exhausted.
Yeah. The door is clearly going to close, and Adam...
Douchebag Adam gets through.
This son of a bitch rolls onto the door.
Yep.
Leaves her there. You really want to take this guy.
I know, right? God.
So, the Dalek rolls toward her, and she says goodbye to the doctor and says it wasn't your fault, and she wouldn't have missed it for the world. The Dalek says exterminate, and we hear it fire, but we don't see it.
Yes.
And the doctor is upset, of course. He says he could have killed the Dalek, but Van Staten is like, no, it was part of my collection. The doctor is like, but you killed them all. You just want to stick... You allowed all those people to die for your fucking collection. And he's like, no, I want to be up in the stars and stuff. Because the doctor is like, mankind had was going to get to be in the stars and was going to get to do all this stuff, but you've fucked that over too.
Right.
And he's like, no, that's what I want to do. And he's like, no, you've brought it all underground.
You're underground.
You've done the exact opposite.
Yes, exactly. You're going the other way. You're burrowing like a freaking mole instead of actually flying up into the stars. That's ridiculous.
I think he even says you're as far from the stars as you can get, and you took her down with you.
Yes.
She was 19. They always are talking about her age in this.
Well, because she's young. She's not getting to experience everything in life, right?
And I don't think that Billie Piper always looks 19. I think she was
like
around
low
that.
20s.
She was 23 or something. Yeah. So I think that sometimes they feel they have to emphasize she's young.
Even in the 20s though, you're still not. You haven't experienced a lot. You haven't gone out and gotten to see and experience an adventure. And he's just like, she hasn't gotten to live.
We cut back to Rose, and the Dalek is
she's
just
alive.
standing there. Yeah, Rose is alive. The Dalek is just standing there staring at her. And she says, why are you doing this?
Kill me. Isn't that what you're supposed to be doing?
And it even says, yeah, I'm supposed to be doing it. That's what I want to do. I don't know why I can't. And it says it feels her fear.
Yes.
And a Dalek shouldn't fear. It shouldn't feel fear.
Yes.
It shouldn't feel something's fear, and it can't fire at her. So it's trying to shoot at her, but it is missing. I was wondering this, Rachel. Is it supposed to just be connected to her so that it can't kill her?
Oh. So it's you think it's specifically Rose?
Specifically Rose, yeah.
I think... that, yes, I would say yes, that is a good point, but I think it's also kind of learning empathy from that connection, maybe.
Okay.
Potentially. It might see the soldiers as just soldiers, but when it actually sees a person in their face and and feels the fear, it's But I think you might be right. It might be a very specific, this is Rose and the Dalek sort of thing.
Which would have been an interesting thing to keep this Dalek around and have it be connected to Rose. Not a friend. Not a friend. I'm saying it feels a connection to Rose for something like that. Every once in a while it pops up and or it finds other Daleks and but it stops them from killing Rose or something like that. It says it's contaminated because of what it did with the DNA. The doctor yells at Adam and is like, you fucking left her, you piece of shit. And I wish he would have slapped him. I wish he would have slapped this little shit.
I think he did kind of deserve a slap.
The Dalek says, open the bulkhead or it will kill Rose Tyler. Oh, the Dalek says to the doctor, another line that I kind of like from the Dalek here, says, why have emotions if you won't save the woman you love? So, he's trying to, put together, maybe the wrong thing about them, but like he's like, this must be your concubine. Well, like, yes, but like, love could also be platonic. But I guess
course.
you're supposed to think like, yeah,
Well, yeah. It's like when you know, you know.
yeah. Great. Doctor says.
Kevin's hell-bent on this.
The doctor says, I killed her once. I can't kill her again, and opens it up for the Dalek. And the Dalek uses Rose as a hostage to kind of roll up to the top level.
It's great.
I just kept thinking Rose would have been like, "Oh, could you go any faster? Like, do we have to roll through this thing for like an hour?
We know you're faster than this.
Do you want to get in the lift? Would that help? The lifts are broken.
I turned them off. I love hate.
So, Doctor's like, okay, I have to find something that can kill it, but there's nothing here. And Adam's like, well, there's nothing cataloged that can
It's like
kill
the
it.
ones that aren't cataloged are here.
Yeah, so they go to his workshop, and they're looking through all this stuff, and there's a bunch of broken shit. They're going through Doom guns,
Pretty
essentially.
much. Yes.
Yeah, and they find a Doom-esque gun to use. It's not the BFG, but it's probably the plasma gun. I'm sure that's kind of what it was.
It is a big one. Yeah.
We learn that the memories of the people that he fires are wiped. It's just kind of like a little line that's thrown away, but it comes back in a few minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, Adam says that. It comes back in a minute or two.
Oh,
so,
okay.
like, they set that up with this little line.
that's true. You're right. Okay,
Yeah.
go on.
The Dalek is going up a lift, so they do go up the lift to Van Stratton's office, and he's gonna kill Van Stratton. I do like the Dalek's line where he's like, "Hear me now," because Van Stratton's like, "All I wanted you to do was talk," and he's like, "Okay, well, listen to me now, asshole.
Yeah.
Exterminate."
I wanted you better. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I swear. I just wanted you to talk.
Then hear me talk now. Exterminate! Exterminate! Exterminate!
Don't do it!
Rose is like, "Don't kill him. You don't have to kill him. There's no reason to kill him. That won't do you any good."
But he goes, why? My whole purpose is to kill. What am I otherwise?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a
like,
very existential, like...
Yeah, it's having an existential crisis.
Yes.
It flips its head back and forth between Rose and Van Stratton, so it's going,
Yes.
and then it goes, I guess all I want is freedom then.
Yep.
So she's like, okay, fine, we'll let you out. So it rolls itself to the top level, shoots a hole in the ceiling in the sunlight, and Rose is like, hey, you made it. So I like picturing her like elbowing it, like, hey, look at this, you made it to the top. How about that?
And then but she says like, oh, like the sun, like finally, because they've been sitting in this bunker for like hours, and she's just like,
Right.
Thank
And she
God,
thought she was gonna die.
air and
so
sun.
she's like, oh, I get to see the sun, yeah.
And he
and the
goes, well, what
Dalek-
does it feel like?
Yeah, Dalek's like, well, what's sunlight feel like? And it unveils itself from the
Yes.
armor thing, and we see a Dalek.
And Kevin was like, oh.
Yeah, like, oh, I thought it was... Well, when he says it earlier, like, there's a thing inside. Now
Yeah,
like,
but
oh,
like you
okay.
don't know what it is until it
No,
opens.
It's a squid with a brain and an eye. And it pulsates quite a bit, and it has entrails, and is slimy.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
it's also
So
like hooked in. I have a feeling there's like a lot of like things hooked into it.
Yeah, probably. Like, this is definitely not what you would think of as like the superior beings of the universe.
I think it's more so in the brain part versus like what it looks like.
Like, if it didn't have all of this contraption around it, you would just be able to stomp on it.
Yeah,
That would be
pretty
the end.
much.
Which I think is supposed to be the irony of it, too. Like,
Right.
it's just this piece of shit looking starfish with tentacles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dalek reaches one of its entrails up to, like, toward the sun to kind of feel. And
Touch
the
rays.
doctor comes out of nowhere and tells Rose to get out of the way. Get out of the fucking way, Rose! He says that the thing's killed hundreds, and Rose is like, well, it's not pointing the gun at me right now. And Rose is like, look at you. Or look at it, Doctor. Like, it's just this pathetic piece of shit. And she's like, it's changing. And she's like, look at you, Doctor, though. Like, you've gone insane.
Like what are you
changing into?
changing? Right.
And Doctor seems to get it now. And he has all this guilt about the time war. I wish he would have cried a little bit. Little cry, little tears.
Well, he started to. I think he started to choke up a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe Christopher Eccleston's just not very good at like crying.
Yeah, or his
He shows a
version
lot of
the
anger emotions. It's like, it's
Yeah.
a very boisterous emotion.
Well, and maybe that's his idea. Like, the doctor shouldn't do that. The doctor should be more. The doctor shouldn't cry or something. You know,
Which
like the
I
doctor.
disagree.
The doctor, though, he says, like, you know, they're all dead. It's my fault and that kind of thing. And the Dalek asks the doctor, well, why do we survive? So we can learn to pick ourselves back up. The doctor says,
I don't know.
I don't know, but you're not. And the doc's like, I guess I'm the last one. And he's like, you're not even that. You absorbed her DNA. You're mutating
You're
into
different.
something. And he tells the doctor, he tells the Dalek, I'm sorry, which I thought was weird. But I guess, like, he realizes, like, this Dalek just wants
This
to
Dalek's
die.
a little bit different because it's feeling, it's changing, and now it's not even the thing that it was supposed to be. It's
Right.
It's
It has no
broken.
idea what it's supposed to do, yeah. Rose is like, isn't that a good thing that it doesn't want to, like, kill everything and it's not really a Dalek anymore? And the doctor's like, not for a Dalek. A Dalek is going to think that's the worst thing for it.
Yeah, I changed. Oh my god, I'm wrong.
I'm not superior anymore. Yeah, now
Right.
I'm something I hate.
Yes.
And it tells Rose, like, you have to give me the order, Rose. I don't know why Rose has to give
I
it
think
the
because
order.
of the connection, and he needs
Okay.
an order from something, and he like listens to.
I cannot
Rose because of the connection.
self-terminate.
Right. I think he needs the order to do so.
Yes. It can feel so many ideas, so much darkness, and tells Rose to give it the order to die.
And she doesn't want to.
He says, like, are you afraid, Rose Tyler? Which is comes back from
Right.
earlier in the episode, too. And she says, yeah. And it goes, yeah, so am I. Do you
And
get
that's
it?
so
Like, there's nothing
sad.
there. Yeah, it is interesting that they
It
are
actually
able
makes you
to
feel
get you
sad.
emotion for this evil, hateful thing.
It's great.
But it is like you said, it's changing. And again, that is, like, to the point. Like, if you found a person that is based off of this, can you have it change? Can it feel empathy towards something that it hates? And then will it change? Will it stop being a Dalek?
Right.
It does one last exterminate, and it breaks itself apart in a glorious CGI bubble.
Yes. It like brings out the
So now-
it, like takes all the balls out and it like explodes itself.
Yeah. It takes all the
very
balls out.
interesting.
It, like, implodes itself.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the idea.
Goddard has the remaining soldiers take Van Straten
Yes.
away and say, wipe his memory. Somewhere starting with an S. To leave him on the side of the road without a name and anything, and, like, leave him there somewhere starting with an S.
Yes.
So I guess they're just gonna take over this guy's corporation, which, granted, he got 200 people killed or whatever, but still, somebody's gonna be like, where is this guy?
Yeah,
and I guess
there's gonna be lots of questions.
And
I would
based
think.
on the Dalek Doctor Who wiki page, and then going to Henry Van Straten, apparently you can learn all about that in some of these extended universe stories about what happened to Henry Van Straten. Anyway,
It's funny.
they get back to the Dalek.
They get back.
They get
to
back
the TARDIS.
to the TARDIS. Thank you. And Rose says, is that the end of the Time War? And Doctor's like, I guess so. I win. How about that? Time Lord would know if there were any other Time Lords, because Rose is like, well, maybe there's something else out there. And he's like, no, I'd feel it. Just like he would figure out if there was a Dalek. Like, I would know if there was a Time Lord. I'm assuming that at some point during this journey, we are going to find out that he has a cousin that will be somewhere, just like Kal-El had a Supergirl. Maybe there's something like that, but we'll see.
We will find out.
Next time on
Not next time,
Doctor
but
Who.
at some point.
Here comes Adam for some reason.
Stupid Adam.
And he tells them that Goddard is going to fill the whole thing with cement. It'll be like it's never even there, so we got to get out of here. And Rose wants to bring him with. And I don't know why, other than she thinks he's cute.
Well, I think because he said he wants to go see the stars, and she feels for that. Like
Yeah, that's what he
I want to do that
says.
too.
And
And-
Doctor is like, but why? Really, Rose? Why? Like, did you look at this guy? He's bland as fuck.
Well, he says
then
he's
he's like-
pretty.
He says a bit pretty,
And he said
she's
he
like,
left
haven't
you down there,
noticed.
and you did too. And there's all this back and forth, and it's
Yeah,
like,
oh, is he pretty? I haven't noticed. I didn't notice. I was just fawning over him. So
and then they get in the box.
They get in the box, and they let Adam come. You didn't let Charles Dickens come with, but you let fucking Adam?
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I just put, they let Adam join. I'm not sure about this.
And you shouldn't be.
Okay.
That's
Great.
Yeah.
So Rachel,
Doesn't last long.
off the record, what is the consensus of Adam? Do people not like this character, or that he joined them for an adventure?
Honestly, I don't know. My group that I watched this with, that like the people I talked to, they don't like him. I don't like him.
Yeah.
I think
I didn't like that.
Is
I
that
didn't
he's
like
kind
him
of
from the
just like a
second I
meh.
saw him.
He's like
Yeah.
fine in this, but
Okay. All right, we'll learn. Because that is the end of Dalek. So, Rachel, my thoughts about this one. I did think that this was a step up from the previous ones. You're able to get more knowledge of and backstory for the Doctor. There's an arch enemy involved. There's stakes that feel grounded. It's a grounded episode. Like, yes, they're saying, like, the world's at stake, but you're stuck in this place. So it feels more grounded. And I like the dynamics between the Doctor and the Dalek. And I like the dynamic between the Dalek and Rose as well.
Yes.
So I thought all of that worked. There's some stuff that could have been done better, as we've illustrated.
Sure.
But I do definitely think that this one is a step up from the previous episodes that we've covered.
I agree. I agree with that. I do think this one was a lot stronger than the previous episodes. I enjoy the Dalek and that character with the Doctor as well. So I thought that it does like bring a lot more to the whole universe of of Doctor Who.
There's more
having the
character
Dalek come
and
back.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. So that was Dalek. After the break, we will come back with another episode of Doctor Who Series 1 with The Long Game, right after this.